The High Court in Durban will hand down its judgment in the dispute brought by the ANC over the use of the logo used by uMkhonto weSizwe formation. The governing party argued that the trademark over the symbol would cause confusion in the run-up to the elections in May, and that the name MK forms part of the heritage of the liberation movement. Yeah, well, let's check in now with one of our reporters, Ntando Mnyandu, who is in Durban this morning, taking a look at who's come out in support of the various parties, the two parties this morning. Ntando, a good morning to you. I see even a poster making the rounds, in fact, showing where the court proceedings will be taking place, hoping, I think, for members and supporters to come out. Are we seeing quite a few numbers out there coming out in support of either one of the parties?
Good morning, Naledi and Aldrin. Well, certainly we are expecting a large number of supporters from both parties, which is the uMkhonto weSizwe Party and the African National Congress, that will come, and stage, support outside the Durban High Court, which is sitting at the Durban Magistrate Court, which will, be handling quite a critical matter in as far as a trademark, as you alluded, as Aldrin alluded in his intro, that the issue that is currently brought before court is the use of the logo of uMkhonto weSizwe, which in essence has some elements that are found also in the logo of the ANC. So it's the battle of spears. But what we are expecting to see here is that supporters of both parties are expected to flock in their numbers. We've had some of the mobilizers and supporters of uMkhonto weSizwe saying that they are expecting, a stage and soundtrack that will be, parked here, which is in previous appearances we've seen, the former president and the endorser of uMkhonto weSizwe, Jacob Zuma, addressing throngs of MK supporters. We've seen the same happening in Bloemfontein, also in Gauteng, and in the last appearance here in Durban. So we are expecting numbers, in as much as we have not seen supporters at the moment, but activities suggest that there will be a large number, as the road in the vicinity of the court has been reduced to one lane, with some police officers visible in and around the vicinity. If my colleague Lungelo Zungu would give you another glimpse, we have also seen colors of uMkhonto weSizwe merchandise, as we are seeing vendors who are already setting up, expecting that they will cash in today's proceedings, as they're expecting a large number of supporters. We are also expecting a large numbers of ANC supporters, who would come in support of their party, as it tries, to find favor before the court this morning, Naledi.
But historically, though, Ntando, if we sort of compare the sort of numbers that have come out either in support of the MK Party or the ANC, seemingly the MK Party having some of the larger numbers. I mean, do you think that that's been a continuous thread as we've seen these court appearances? And really what the concerns are, particularly depending on what this ruling then says today, around security in Ntando?
Well, with the police presence we've seen since we got here, we do not anticipate any clashes or problems with the number when the judgment is handed down, be it in favor of any of the two political parties, but particularly the crowds that have been dominating, on the ground was that of uMkhonto weSizwe in previous appearances. As it has gained traction, particularly in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, you would know the prominence and the charisma that the endorser of the party enjoys in this part of the country. So we're expecting throngs of people, clad in uMkhonto weSizwe regalia, in support of uMkhonto weSizwe, and hoping for a positive positive outcome, as you would know that it's less than 33 days into elections now, Naledi.
Yeah, we're about 36 days towards elections and the clock is ticking so fast. Ntando, thank you so much for that update. Of course, Ntando keeping a close eye on things outside of the court. Aldrin now to chat about what's going on, what we're expecting to see inside the court today.
Which is very important, of course, and this deals with the merits of the case. Ziyanda Ngcobo is following that for us, and she now joins us outside the court. Ziyanda, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. So expectations around the judgment to be handed down later today. But I wonder, though, what it means now that Legacy Project, the people who are arguing and saying that they actually own the trademark, arguing that they have ceded it to the ANC.
That's right, Aldrin, and you'll remember that was part of the arguments here to say, well, the actual owners of the trademark aren't the applicants in this matter, and in fact it is the ANC. It's only now, seemingly after the court hearings on the 27th of March, that the Legacy Trust Project ceded the trademark to the ANC. I wonder then whether that will still be something that the judge would have considered, but you'll recall, Aldrin, that the judge will have to consider what's in front of them. You'll remember that the argument by the ANC, by and large, was around the confusion that this name uMkhonto weSizwe would potentially cause with the voter and ultimately prejudice them ahead and during the 29th of May polls. And the real question then became, well, when you compare the ANC logo and the uMkhonto weSizwe logo, would any confusion be caused if the court is to take into consideration the arguments that is being made by the ANC? Dalimpofu arguing on behalf of the uMkhonto weSizwe party, also raising the issue of how the ANC brought this matter on an urgent basis but did not explain the urgency of the matter before the court. Issues of jurisdiction as well, to talk about why is it being brought to an urgent court when they could have taken it to the electoral court, which they did not do. And so these are some of the matters that the judge would have to consider. And of course, you'll know that this judgment will be handed down this morning, and there's been lots of talk about how these court cases have become a launch pad of sorts for the uMkhonto weSizwe party to host rallies outside court and essentially give former President Jacob Zuma free airtime, which at some stage the MK Party was saying is being denied by the media.
Yeah. Just a quick final one also, Ziyanda, is what this judgment then means for the IEC, which is supposed to be printing the ballot. And last week, the IEC said that they will go ahead with printing the ballot.
Yeah, well, the IEC in this matter was not a party to the case. It's literally the ANC versus the MK Party. But of course, there are implications for the Electoral Commission insofar as that logo being used. And essentially, the role of the IEC did come up on the 27th of March, where Advocate Tsidiso Ramokhale was saying, well, the IEC, in its consideration of putting the logo on the ballot, does not look at issues of trademark. They'll look at ANC versus uMkhonto weSizwe party logo to see whether there's any kind of confusion that might be caused, but does not look at issues of trademark. So in this matter, it is quite specific, but you'll already know that there's already a court case that is being appealed in the Constitutional Court regarding, the issues of the former president forming part of the parliamentary list because of that sentence and the remission and the arguments that have been made there. But as far as I know, it will be the face of former President Jacob Zuma that will be on the ballot. But the issues of trademark now and Section 34(1)(a) of the Trademark Act is exactly what was argued here a month ago.
Thank you so much, Ziyanda Ngcobo, there outside the court in Durban, where we expect judgment to be handed down again. Again, it is the ANC versus the MK Party.